You're inside a room. Inside this room, it's just you and a blind person, and you're given a task. Explain this color to the blind person. How would you do it? I think a lot of people would start by trying to say, well, if you think about a warm color, or try to go off of visuals. But you can't. It's pretty much impossible to get a full rendition of this color to the blind person. After all, he's never seen before. At this rate, you're probably thinking, what's going on with me? Have I gone insane? Were the AP exams too much for me? No, they weren't too much for me. Thank you for caring about me. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a very special word, and that is the word epiphany. This word relates to a few things, and that is overcoming your plateaus and understanding people. So let's get into the meaning of epiphany. For those who don't know, an epiphany is pretty much a eureka moment. Now, I'm not going to try to explain this because I tried to earlier and I don't know how to pronounce any of these Greek words, so I'm just going to be leaving it like that. Now that we have that out the way, I want to talk about plateaus, which is pretty much when you have something and you're kind of stuck. This can be, for me, I've been playing a lot of Valorant, so it's kind of like being stuck in Valorant in rank. Or if you can't seem any bigger in the gym, and no matter how much you try, you just can't improve anymore, or you feel that you're kind of stuck. It's pretty much that feeling of being stuck and you can't kind of get out of that. And the only way to get out of this stuck situation is an epiphany. Now, unfortunately, when some people are in the gym, they get the epiphany that, hey, you know what? I should just use steroids. Please don't use steroids. I know that they shorten your lifespan. So if you know the risks, you know the risks. And this is more easily applicable to when you have a learning curve and you can't seem to get past that curve. The epiphany is what comes out and kind of pushes you out. It's kind of like rockets or a booster stage. It just kind of gets you out of that curve so you can keep on learning as you were meant to. I feel like most of this is because you just don't understand the topic enough, or you might think you understand the topic well enough, but you actually don't. It's kind of like how a lot of people, they can tell you what water's made out of, but then when you talk about like subatomic theory, they have no clue. It's not a complete understanding, so they don't know it in and out in every single possible way. An epiphany is kind of like when you unlock that piece of information and then everything clicks like a puzzle, and suddenly everything is as clear as day. That's kind of how people get out of these curves. Now, I don't know how this applies to weightlifting too much. Again, it's kind of weird. I guess you have the epiphany to use steroids, or your muscles just lock in one day and just decide to put on 20 pounds of muscle overnight. Steroids? Maybe. Another thing I wanted to wrap this into is, really communicating with people. I see a lot of arguments coming around, and most of them are honestly kind of dumb. It just comes from a lack of understanding, or the lack thereof an epiphany of understanding the other person. I mean, I feel like a lot of problems could be avoided if we just listen to each other. Of course, this is easier said than done. People suffer from all sorts of things like pride, myself included. So we don't really want to get off the high horse. But I really recommend, if you're having an argument with someone, really try to understand it from their lens. Because what I've noticed is that everyone has a reason to be upset, and that reason is when that person thinks an injustice has occurred. You just kind of have to pinpoint that injustice and kind of try to get them to understand your side of the story. Kind of like a mutual epiphany. That's probably the best way to get past differences. So now I'm going to just wrap it up by saying one thing. This entire video, I've talked about epiphanies and how that they're kind of like the secret sauce to solving all your problems. Now I'm going to say, don't chase epiphanies. And before you click off the video saying, oh man, this guy just wasted 4 minutes of my time, here's my reasoning. In my experience, every time I try to chase an aha moment, I don't get it. Aha moments are kind of like, they're things that come naturally. It's like when your mind's wandering around, it just happens. So you could say that I haven't had the epiphany for getting epiphanies. So maybe I'll get that one day and I'll become immensely talented at whatever I do. However, I will try to say it's to approach things at different ways. All right, there are ways to, kind of change things up, kind of jog things up. It's kind of like if you keep doing one thing and then you keep expecting a different thing to happen. Again, wrapping this back, if you guys play Valorant, if I push A side every single round and I just get bodied by the same guy every single round, something has to change. Either I push A differently or I push B side. I'm not gonna just keep going and expecting for something different. Far Cry 3 has a really good example of this. So the main antagonist, Vass, he's like saying, insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting for something to change. That is crazy. And that's a really good definition, and I think that mirrors what a lot of people try doing. Whenever you get to a wall, a lot of people just keep trying over and over to run up that wall instead of going around the wall. So I just want to end this video with, now this is the real ending, okay? Not the previous ending, that's like a mini ending. But you might just forget about this video. And you probably won't get an aha moment from this video, unless if you're really lucky. In that case, I would be very happy knowing that my videos help some people. But really, an epiphany is different from each person. Our brains are not the exact same, right? Again, back to explaining the color orange to a blind person. How would I do it, Every single person sees colors slightly differently in their own light. Maybe like a Mexico filter on, where everything's like a little more orange, but you kind of get the idea. So that's why I don't think everyone watching this video is going to get a cure-all snake oil solution. I don't think that's so. However, I will say, hopefully by watching this video, you can understand to take things at different routes, kind of let your mind wander and look for new solutions that you haven't tried already. And then maybe you can try to improve on the same solution, and that's my genuine hope. So I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll have something more entertaining and less like a Dhar Man video. Yeah, alright, see ya.